It's easy to get stuck reaching for the same familiar fruits and vegetables, even when you know a colorful variety is key. Balance of Nature's fruits and veggie supplements don't replace fruits and vegetables, but it makes it easy to add more variety to what you already eat. With 31 ingredients that are whole fruits and vegetables, switching it up is easy because we've already taken care of the hard part. Go to balanceofnature.com and get a free fiber and spice supplement, plus 35% off your first set as a new preferred customer by using discount code POD.
Running a business comes with a lot of what-ifs, but luckily there's a simple answer to them. Shopify. It's the commerce platform behind millions of businesses, including Thrive Cosmetics and Momofuku, and it'll help you with everything you need. From website design and marketing to boosting sales and expanding operations, Shopify can get the job done and make your dream a reality. Turn those what-ifs into... Sign up for your $1 per month trial at shopify.com/special offer.
The Rush Hour with James Golden. Entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Attention Ditto Heads. Attention Bo Scouts.
Goes by the pseudonym Bo Snerdley.
It's time for the soul of excellence.
He is a radio host here in New York.
The Rush Hour is on the air.
Rush.
Now here's James Golden.
The travel business, including casinos, hotels, and convention bureaus, signed a public letter warning that America's travel economy has already lost $4 billion due to this Democrat shutdown, and they have called for the Republican CR to be passed, saying Americans expect and deserve a fully functioning federal government during the peak holiday travel season. Never before have we seen private industry and union leadership so unified on the same issue, rallying behind Republicans in such a vocal way. The Democrats have completely lost the plot. They are endangering the safety, prosperity, and livelihoods of millions of Americans.
Welcome, my friends, to the Election Day edition of Bo Snerdley's Rush Hour, the fastest hour in American media. That was Caroline Levitt, of course, presser today. Things going on with the continued shutdown. Today, the Democrats, for the 14th time, have voted to extend the shutdown. And we had a warning from the Transportation Secretary, Sean Duffy. In fact, keep the music there and just play the warning. Cut 3. This is what Secretary Duffy had to say.
Question affordability in this city, living here is top of everyone's mind. It has gotten obscenely expensive to live here, to do anything here. So you're proposing free grocery stores, free buses, $30 minimum
That's
wage,
the wrong
all
cut.
of which
That's
sounds
not
incredible.
Sean Duffy.
Cheaper groceries, not free groceries.
Excuse me, cheaper
That's
groceries.
Mondami. I don't know what happened there. We were supposed to have Sean Duffy. Basically, what Duffy said today is, look, we're going to have to shut down
one payment, 80 to 90% of one payment. They missed the second paycheck. On Thursday, they get an email pay stub that'll show what their next payment is going to be. So this Thursday, they'll get an email that shows that their pay stub is a big fat zero. Many of the controllers said a lot of us can navigate missing one paycheck. Not everybody, but a lot of us can. None of us can manage missing 2 paychecks. So if you bring us to a week from today, Democrats, you will see mass chaos. You will see mass flight delays. You'll see mass cancellations, and you may see us close certain parts of the airspace because we just cannot manage it because we don't have the air traffic controllers.
So, Democrats have now, if this goes on another week, expect that parts of the American airspace could be shut down. In other words, you have a flight somewhere, forget it. The planes are not going to be able to fly because we don't have the controllers to do it. This is what Democrats have done. It is Election Day. Okay, you already know. We talked yesterday about what was on the agenda. I want to go back for a quick minute and talk about history. Today, November 4th. What is that in history? Well, a few things. For you Egyptologist and all that. This was a day that King Tut's, the pathway to King Tut's tomb, 1922, was unraveled out of the dirt. People found it. But politically, this day has significance. Now, I went to the History Channel's website, looked at some of the things. In 2008, there was quite the big political deal on this day in history, but also in 1980. Now, for some reason, the History Channel didn't list this one on their website. I wonder why they didn't list this under U.S. presidents' history for this day. But on this day in 1980, conservative Republican Ronald Reagan was elected as the 40th president of the United States of America. The Reagan Revolution would begin this day in 1980. In 2008, on this day, Barack Obama was elected as America's first black president. That's what the folks over at the History Channel said. They remembered Obama. They left out Reagan. So it was this day that President Obama was elected. And this day, all these years later, what are we fighting over? One is his signature act. Obamacare is one of the reasons that the government has shut down a program based on lies. But that does not stop Obama. Nothing has. You see that horrible president. I'm sorry. It's subjective. Some people might think it's beautiful. I've seen pictures of this building that's his presidential library that's taken all these years to go up. To me, it's a horrendous looking building. But, you know, look, I'm not Mr. Architectural Digest. I don't know. Maybe some people will find it attractive. I just think it's hideous. But Obama is still in the news, and he has weighed in. He has weighed in on the New York mayor's race. We happen to have that. The parody. We have Barack Hussein Obama emerging to weigh in on what is happening today, New York City, and his forecast for the future of, well, Mr. Mondami and Mr. Obama.
My fellow Americans and the people of New York City, when Zohran Mondami came on the scene, I thought, now there's a guy who's a lot like me, an underdog candidate from out of nowhere with a funny name, fathered by a communist professor from a failed African country. And like me, he just loves the Muslim call to prayer from a cheap loudspeaker on top of his mosque. But he has a winning smile and a lot of new ideas.
First, we will commandeer the means of production from the Jews.
Zohan will do for the people of New York
of the gender-deprived homeless after we tear down what was once
I'm so pleased to
because we fully realize we are the ones we've been waiting for.
Oh, never mind. Just keep smiling. But not like that.
Barack Obama, who, by the way, hasn't issued that is, of course, Paul Shanklin, ladies and gentlemen. Many of you listening to the Rush Show know that many of the parodies that you came to love over the years by the magnificent Paul Shanklin, including my favorite, Obama the Magic Negro. But Paul Shanklin has retired for some time, so I feel quite fortunate. He decided to send that to me today. And thank you, Paul. Paul has always been one of the best Obama impersonators ever, and I love his work. Now, on the serious side of what's happening today with Mondami, we kind of played it already, but let's play it again in context. The Mondami soundbite that you played earlier, he was asked about the free stuff, asked about the Santa Claus, the goodies. He was on PMS NBC, And they asked him about it, and this is Mondami's response.
Question affordability in this city, living here is top of everyone's mind. It has gotten obscenely expensive to live here, to do anything here. So you're proposing free grocery stores, free buses, $30 minimum wage, all of which sounds incredible.
Cheaper groceries, not free groceries.
Excuse me, cheaper groceries. But what people want to know is, great, I would love all those things.
Yeah,
how do you pay for it? Who's going to end up footing the bill for those programs?
So I'll answer that question by first explaining some of the endorsements that Andrew Cuomo has received. Elon Musk's endorsement is one of the most expensive endorsements that Andrew Cuomo has ever gotten, because it cost him and the state of New York $959 million in tax breaks that he gave Elon Musk years ago when he was the governor of this state. That's actually more money than it would cost to make every bus free in New York City. So I've said clearly that I believe we should tax the top 1% an additional 2%, that's New Yorkers making $1 million or more a year, and have the most profitable corporations pay the same tax rate they do at the top tier in New Jersey, what they would actually pay here in New York. These things together would pay for the entirety of our economic agenda and start to Trump-proof our city. Because as you've said, the endorsements that Andrew Cuomo has got, and this morning he started it by going on Fox and Friends, we're talking about Donald Trump, Elon Musk, and Stephen Miller. These are the architects in many ways of the crisis of authoritarianism that New Yorkers are facing. And Andrew Cuomo is so unwilling to tax Donald Trump's billionaire donors because he knows those are the same ones whose checks that he's busy cashing trying to get back to City Hall.
So what you get is more class warfare, more unworkable solutions. I'm going to tax the rich. I'm going to tax the rich. Never failing to mention, and I love this, the Democrats do this, we're just going to put a 1% tax. They never explain to people that the rich in this country and New York and everywhere else, the Democrats just let the words flow out of their mouths, tax the rich, that they are already paying the lion's share of all taxes. And taxing them further, whether it's another 1% tax, a 2% tax. In fact, there's a proposal. I got to go back and dig this out because I think it's in, I forgot where it was. It's one of the blue states where they're openly now coming for the wealth with a wealth tax and saying, oh, it'll just be one time. Oh, just one time. We're going to go in and take money that's already been taxed. But they're rich, and so who cares if we steal their money is pretty much what they're saying. Money that's already been taxed. That's proposal. This is what Democrats do. And they dress it, oh, just 1%. It'll pay for all my madcap schemes. Well, they don't also tell voters, and we risk having people leave this city and destroy the entire tax base so that I can give free stuff to people because nothing's free. Instead, this attack on Elon Musk, instead this attack on everyone else, people that actually produce things. Name me one thing that Zohran Mamdani has actually produced. Elon Musk is wealthy in part because Elon Musk produces stuff that consumers buy or that businesses buy. Do you think this guy, Mamdani, is capable of standing up a company like SpaceX? Give me a break. He doesn't have the intellectual firepower to even begin to know how to do it. Do you think he could stand up a company like Tesla? Do you think he could do in robotics what Elon Musk is getting done in the field of robotics? No, but all you get is this petty sniping and this idea that they must be taxed. They do things that literally change the world from what they do. And this guy, this petty tyrant, just wants to take from people that actually produce stuff so that he can give other stuff away and claim that as power. The election is going to be what it is, folks. But I'll tell you what, we're getting a real good picture of who these people are and some of the other election stuff. Now, there's shutdown news today, too. You got Democrats all of a sudden, some Democrats in the Senate, trying to sit down and work down a deal. What does that tell you? It tells you one thing. This entire shutdown has been used just what they said it was being used for, as leverage. They are leveraging Americans' pain. And now, as soon as we get past Election Day and they figure they squeezed as much as they can squeeze out of it, all of a sudden, let's sit down and talk about how to end it. There are 8 Democrats in the Senate now trying to figure out how they can end it. And of course, we want to get assurances from Donald Trump because, trust is involved. You didn't need any assurances before you went out on this wildcat strike and shut the government of the United States down. Folks, there is some real cynicism going on in this country, in government. It's James Golden, Snerdley, America's fastest hour in American media. Continues. Do not go anywhere.
Rush. This is The Rush Hour with James Golden.
Oh, Snerdley.
The Rush Hour with James Golden. Entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
James Golden, known popularly as Bo Snerdley.
This is The Rush Hour with James Golden.
Rush.
Watching people go from no kings to king, please give me my food is funny to me. Nothing else but funny.
James Golden, it is the fastest hour in American media. Folks, we got word this morning, of course, anybody that really follows the news knows this, that former Vice President Dick Cheney passed away. The news was announced early this morning. And we have had reaction, of course. Former President Bush 43, said that former Vice President Dick Cheney's death was a loss to the nation, that Cheney was the one that he needed when he became his running mate in the year 2000. Laura and I will remember Dick Cheney for the decent, honorable man that he was. Bush 43 said, and he said that history will remember Dick Cheney as among the finest public servants of his generation, a patriot who brought integrity, high intelligence, and a seriousness of purpose to every position he held. And he did hold many positions. Dick Cheney had started off as a chief of staff and that's his political career. Began as a chief of staff, congressional chief of staff, then later ran for office as a congressman from Wyoming, appointed Secretary of Defense for Bush 41, and of course, then the running mate. Not nice words about President Trump. In an ad for his daughter Lynn, he said that in the nation's 246-year-old history, there had never been an individual who was a greater threat to the republic than Donald Trump. Dick Cheney passes away. Bill Clinton also had some nice words. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
The Rush Hour with James Golden. Entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
James Golden, known popularly as Bo Snerdley.
This is The Rush Hour with James Golden.
Rush.
Posted that they will only be given out when the radical left Democrats open the government and not before. But just yesterday, the administration said it would comply with a court order to expend the full amount of SNAP contingency funds by end of business day yesterday. So Did the administration distribute that money or defy that court order?
No, the administration is fully complying with the court order. I just spoke to the president about it. The recipients of these SNAP benefits need to understand it's going to take some time to receive this money because the Democrats have forced the administration into a very untenable position. We are digging into a contingency fund that is supposed to be for emergencies, catastrophes, for war. And the president does not want to have to tap into this fund in the future. And that's what he was referring to in his Truth Social post. So the Department of Agriculture, as for the latest SNAP payment in the judge's order, put out guidance to states today on how to get that money to the recipients of SNAP. But it's going to take some time. The best way to get the full amount of SNAP benefits to those beneficiaries is for Democrats to reopen the government. So to anyone who is a SNAP beneficiary at home who needs that assistance, and the president was just saying, this is for people who are truly needy, who need food, who need this assistance from the United States government. Democrats are holding it up and making it difficult for the administration to get those payments out the door. So if you are at home and you want your SNAP benefits, call the Democrats and tell them to reopen the government.
So guess what I'm doing for the first time in 12 years? Okay? I am getting up, I'm ready, did my hair, took my shower, brushed my teeth, and I'm going to do my community service hours. Why community service hours, do you ask? Because they told me in order to keep my food stamps, I would have to do 15 hours of community service per week. That's at minimum. I can do more if I want to, which I probably will because I don't have anything else going on. And my kids are in daycare since I qualified for subsidized childcare. So, I'm going to do my 15 hours or more. I haven't decided yet. It depends on how I like it at the place where I'm volunteering. But anyways, this is just until I get an actual full-time job because they don't just let you stay in community service for as long as you want. You have to find employment or go to school. So
shocking. For the first time, I'm not doing anything else. I might as well go volunteer. I might as well. Come on. I'm not doing. If I like it, I'll keep doing it. I mean, my kids are in subsidized daycare. I ain't doing nothing. So, yeah, I might. Okay, tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, we cover all the big things. From the top to the bottoms. Right here on the America's Fastest Hour on American Media, right here. Tomorrow is the day that the Supreme Court handles a big case. That would be the tariffs. Democrats are wildly upset that Donald Trump has been using tariffs, so many lawsuits, so little time. The Treasury Secretary of the United States of America, Scott Bessent, was on Fox. That's cut number 6, and he was discussing this tariff case and what is important about it from his perspective. And we have Mr. Bessent. Here he is.
Well, I don't think they're going to. I'm actually going to go and sit, hopefully in the front row, and listen, have a ringside seat. And Jesse, this is a matter of national security. If President Trump had not had the IEEPA, which is an emergency tariff authority, back in the spring, he put IEEPA tariffs on China, and last week in Korea, the Chinese agreed to start working to bring down the precursors for fentanyl. If fentanyl is not a national emergency, what is? China, on October 8th, threatened to curtail rare earths to the entire world. President Trump threatened to put on 100% tariffs and protected our national security using the IEEPA power. And then finally, these big trade deficits we've had for years in economics, there's something called a tipping point. And we were at the tipping point. Fortunately, President Trump came in. He put on the tariffs. He is rebalancing global trade in favor of the U.S., and he has prevented an economic crisis.
So the media is going to say if the Secretary of Treasury shows up, front row seat, to the Supreme Court hearing on tariff. You're intimidating the justices. They're going to say Bessent is intimidating Justice Jackson and Sotomayor, and you shouldn't show up.
Well, they can say what they want. I am there to emphasize that this is an economic emergency. National security is economic security. Economic security is national security. As the Treasury Secretary of the United States, I'm in charge of maintaining both.
Now, so he's going to be there. This is an important case, folks. And a lot of Trump's foreign policy rests on this case. So big deal. Tomorrow we will also be treated to election results. In New York, there is one hopeful thing I will say about the New York election, and that is turnout is huge in New York today. If there is an underswelling of people that just say, this Mamdani guy, no. And they have not been, or they've been a lot of the undecided voters, and they are breaking for Cuomo. I don't know. The polls have never showed anybody else leading. Turnout is so heavy. Do you know that by the end of this morning, when this morning ended, there had been more people already voted than in the entire last mayoral election in New York? This is a huge turnout. And I don't know, when you do polling and you do all of that, a lot of it is on anticipated on likely voters, people that are likely to vote in some of these polls. If this turnout exceeds all expectations, perhaps there is a chance that New York will not end up with an open socialist/communist as the next mayor. The news out of Virginia, I don't know. We will see to it. New Jersey, again, I think, and I said yesterday, I think New Jersey could be an upset. Because most commentators, most political analysts are saying New Jersey's done. It's going to be the Democrat. I believe New Jersey could be an upset, and I certainly hope it will be an upset. There are other things on the ballot around the country, including this redistricting move by Gavin Newsom, which upends their own constitution. He's such a political fraud. But anyway, there was news at the press conference today. Caroline Leavitt was asked about that. That's 24, this redistricting Proposition 50 in California. Lady Benedict, by the way, texted me. It is California that is implementing and I should have remembered it because I covered it the other day. But it's just so much stuff going on. It is California that is trying to, they filed a ballot for a voter initiative for a so-called one-time only. And you know that's a bunch of bullshit. One-time only 5% tax on the net worth of individuals more than $1 billion in assets. They just want to swoop in and they say, oh, it's only once, and take 5% of their money. I tell you, these people beyond greedy, it is just open theft, what they want to do to people. And I wonder if this would trigger a constitutional challenge. You're not supposed to treat people in unequal ways. Anyway, this California redistricting scheme is on the ballot today. Caroline Leavitt was asked about it. This is what she had to say.
Legal and criminal review. By whom and why? And also, in this vein, does the White House still plan to issue an executive order banning mail-in voting, and what legal authority do you have to do that?
The White House is working on an executive order to strengthen our elections in this country and to ensure that there cannot be blatant fraud, as we've seen in California with their universal mail-in voting system. It's absolutely true that there's fraud in California's elections. It's just a fact. It is just a fact. They have a universal mail-in voting system, which we know is ripe for fraud. And if you want to deny that, I'm happy to provide you all of the evidence for it. I'd be glad to send that to you after this briefing.
Rigged.
fraudulent ballots that are being mailed in the names of other people, in the names of illegal aliens who shouldn't be voting in American elections. There's countless examples, and we'd be happy to provide them. As for executive action the White House is taking, yes, we are looking into that. And like any executive order, of course, any executive order the president signs is within his full executive authority and within the confines of the law.
So you've got that case. We will hear from that probably in the wee hours of the morning, or maybe tomorrow, or maybe next week. You know, California is one of those states that they take forever to tally up the votes, depending on how they want the election to work. You remember the last election? Everybody else had done it. California still, we're still counting in California. Fourth largest economy in the world. And they don't have a system where they can quickly determine and tell you who won an election. I think it's quite interesting. Some of the other things, Pennsylvania voters tonight are voting for that Supreme Court. They have one of the most liberal Supreme Courts in the country. And they're I saw one story that talked about the geriatric nature of that court. That's going to be interesting as well. So you've got, of course, the two governors' races that are highly. You got the New York mayor's race. You have the California redistricting. You have the Pennsylvania Supreme Court on the line. Those will be among the election night stories tonight and will bleed into tomorrow. Cut 12, very quickly. I told you yesterday that this was happening. We're not going to play the whole thing, because it's long. It's a 3-minute cut. We don't have 3 minutes, but I told you yesterday this was happening, and it was all over social media. This is just to reaffirm, if I say something is happening, it's happening.
They are not playing, y'all. They is walking around guarding the Walmart. They is ready in here at the Walmart. I ain't never seen them. So we here all the time, never see them. They guarding the Walmart, y'all. I told y'all, we come here all the time. Y'all know I do deliveries and stuff. We have never, ever seen two armed guard police just walking around. But y'all, be careful. Like, they is not playing. I'm sure they was hired.
They is not playing. They is guarding the Walmart, folks.
Thanksgiving meal.
They is guarding it.
Walmart was hitting on, but yeah, that just done blew my mind, honey.
It blew my mind too, honey. They is guarding Walmart. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, be careful, because they is guarding Walmart. And they is guarding Walmart with armed guards. James Golden, Snerdley, fastest hour in American media. On this P. Diddy's Power Bottom birthday in America. I wonder if they do, like, depending on how old you are, that's how many. Never mind. We got to hit to a break.
This is The Rush Hour with James Golden.
Snerdley.
The Rush Hour with James Golden. Entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
It's The Rush Hour with James Golden.
Goes by the pseudonym Snerdley.
Rush.
Now, here's James Golden.
We're staying on top of those lines at Houston's airports this morning.
Bush Airport shut down TSA checkpoints in 3 of its terminals over the weekend because of staffing issues stemming from the government shutdown. So let's take you for a live look inside. This is Bush Terminal E, where lines once again are out the front door. Fly to Houston tracks TSA wait times at Bush. The wait times just for the security checkpoint are expected to be at least 180 minutes right now, 3 hours.
Americans are suffering big time. Democrats are using Americans as leverage, And remember what Chuck Schumer said, every day just gets better for the Democrats. Every day you suffer, whether it's on airport lines, whether it's without your EBT. Every day is a better day for Democrats, folks, including this election day, 2025. 1938, Harry Elson was born. He was with the Friends of Distinction, one of the most amazing groups, I think underrated in music history. 1969 was a big year for them. This one was the second release, and this one bled into 1970, summer 70, was a number one. You got me going in circles, but the first single off the album was this one, Grazing in the Grass, which was a vocal of Hugh Masekela's instrumental song, which had been number one. Hugh Masekela, the South African trumpeter. Friends of Distinction were discovered by American football great Jim Brown, who, by the way, is also credited with discovering Earth, Wind, and Fire. We leave you with that. May God bless and protect each and every single one of you, your families, your loved ones. Love and gratitude, my friends, for your being here with me and allowing me to be with you. If you haven't gotten out to vote, please. In any case, my friends, God willing, we are back tomorrow. Until then, I bid you adieu. Bye.
Thanks for listening to Bo Snerdley's Rush Hour. You can hear Bo Snerdley's Rush Hour weekdays at 4 on 77 WABC. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder,
what the heck is going on here?
It's easy to get stuck reaching for the same familiar fruits and vegetables, even when you know a colorful variety is key. Balance of Nature's fruits and veggie supplements don't replace fruits and vegetables, but it makes it easy to add more variety to what you already eat. With 31 ingredients that are whole fruits and vegetables, switching it up is easy because we've already taken care of the hard part. Go to balanceofnature.com and get a free fiber and spice supplement, plus 35% off your first set as a new preferred customer by using discount code POD.